Okay, so you've written a bunch of other books as well. And I'd love to get into that because I have maybe just over 20 minutes because I do have a prior commitment and that's why I had to start earlier today. But I would love to get into possibly one of the other topics that we were talking about earlier, which is reincarnation. You have written some books on reincarnation. You also have a fantastic Facebook group about reincarnation. Where did that come from? Where did that drive to start writing about reincarnation come from? And let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah, because my first book, as I mentioned, is nonfiction, right? And now I'm kind of full circle writing a nonfiction again, that stemmed from fiction. And so I thought, well, I'm going to write fiction, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to write a love story, blah blah blah. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to write a love story that gets into reincarnation, so that the second book is the same couple from the first story, and then who were they in a previous lifetime, and how does that lifetime affect them now? And so I just had so much fun with writing that series. It's called Duet Stories. And then a year and a half ago, I published a trilogy that's called We Meet Again. That's this epic reincarnation mystery and love story about a famous couple from history who's reincarnated today to fulfill a prophecy that'll change the world. Right. So this like an epic, Da Vinci Code meets Outlander, kind of love story. And you just mentioned, what did we know about science and religion from before? And I mean, this one all traces all the way back to Pythagoras, who is like one of my heroes of all time. And he was really, he's 2,500 years ago. And, Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle came after him. They all were basically Pythagoreans. And most people don't know much about Pythagoras other than, the triangles.
Yeah, exactly. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Yes.
That's right. Well, I'll give you a trivia of that because my nephew teaches high school math. And I was like, did you know that Pythagoras' father was a gem cutter? So no wonder he knew geometry. I mean, you have to know geometry to
be a gem cutter. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. He's like, he inherited geometry, But he believed that Earth went around the sun. He believed that there's called it the music of the spheres, like the planets are making music. I mean, like he was so, and he definitely believed in reincarnation. He was one of the first, and then so did Aristotle, so did Plato, so did Socrates. Like all of those people did. And so I love delving into kind of like the history of reincarnation. And I don't know if you know who Giordano Bruno was, but he's another favorite of mine. And he was burned at the stake he was a priest in Italy. And he said the earth went around the sun, and he said the universe is infinite. And he was a big believer in reincarnation as well. And they burned him at stake. And there's a big statue of, it took hundreds of years later, but there's a big statue in Campo de Fiore and in Rome in dedication to him because they were wrong. They had to go, oh crap, So I love writing about it. And, and you mentioned like science exploring and expanding. I mean, Carl Sagan, said, hey, reincarnation needs more research. I mean, let's just be honest, Yeah, there's too many stories.
Yeah. I've heard many stories of young children talking about their past lives, because they're being reincarnated.